Hi, I'm Mike Reilly, and I'm the new guy.
Yo. Yo.
Either or, both works. I have lunch with a buddy at Chipotle, and then someone kind of sent me something that there's potential of me moving, and then 2 o'clock rolled around and I heard I was traded, but I didn't specifically know the team, and then eventually got a call and found out. So there's like 20 minutes where I knew I was traded, but didn't know what team. It's just such a weird feeling that you know you're leaving, but you don't know where you're going, and you know, obviously it's a pretty special place. So definitely was pretty pumped up when I heard about coming to Montreal. Since the news kind of broke, I called my I think I called my brother. I think I texted both my brothers at the same time, just to you know, be fair, I guess. I'm not trying to favor one of them, but yeah, both of them. I've been here a little bit, and I just heard it's like great place to live. You know, a lot of things to do, a lot of restaurants. I've kind of consider myself a foodie a bit, and you know, love to kind of venture off and try new restaurants, things like that. And you know, that's something hopefully I'll kind of indulge in a little bit, you know, while I'm here. And it's obviously the hockey culture here. You know, coming from Minnesota, that's you know, hockey's pretty crazy there, and you know, growing up in youth hockey, then you know, high school hockey and college, things like that. And I think you know, coming here, it's even a step up, and that's you know, something that you know, I'm looking forward to. You know, I think he went to a training camp here, and he obviously got drafted. And I think he's told me some stories back in the day, just some of the guys that were here. And God, I wish I could knew the names. Wish I could knew the names right now on the spot. But you know, some pretty big names. I'm pretty sure he mentioned, and pretty cool to, you know, kind of hear that out of his mouth. And basically, just he kind of hyped up just how big Montreal is, and you know, just how big the hockey culture is here. You know, I think I'd kind of always been labeled just as, you know, just a one-way, just kind of offensive defenseman. But you know, I know you know, kind of the structure that the Minnesota Wild play. It's you know, you got to play defense, and you know, not saying they don't play offense, but you know, take care of your own end. And you know, other guys defend in different ways, and you know, I try to you know, defend with my stick, and you know, try to close on guys, and you know, gaps, things like that. So kind of get labeled as that, but doesn't really bother me. It's just you know, constant improvement every single day, and you know, in terms of my own end, and you know, I defend in a different way than, you know, maybe you know, Ryan Suter defends, or you know, could go down the list. But yeah, definitely you know, more of a two-way defenseman in a way.